Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 5, Book 59, number 515. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. We witnessed the Battle of Khaybar. Allah's apostle said about one of those who were with him and who claimed to be a Muslim, "This man is from the dwellers of the hell fire." When the battle started, that fellow fought so violently and bravely that he received plenty of wounds. Some of the people were about to doubt the Prophet's statement, but the man, feeling the pain of his wounds, put his hand into his quiver and took out of it some arrows with which he slaughtered himself, i.e. committed suicide. Then some men amongst the Muslims came hurriedly and said, "O Allah's apostle, Allah has made your statement true, so and so has committed suicide." The Prophet said, "O so and so, get up and make an announcement that none but a believer will enter paradise, and that Allah may support the religion with an unchaste, evil, wicked man." Volume 5, Book 59, number 516. Narrated by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. When Allah's apostle fought the Battle of Khaybar, or when Allah's apostle went towards it, whenever the people passed over a high place overlooking a valley, they raised their voices saying, "Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, none has the right to be worshipped except Allah." On that Allah's apostle said to them, "Lower your voices, for you are not calling a deaf or an absent one, but you are calling a hearer who is near and is with you." I was behind the riding animal of Allah's apostle, and he heard me saying, "There is neither might nor power but with Allah." On that he said to me, "O Abdullah bin K." I said, "Labbaik, O Allah's apostle." He said, "Shall I tell you a sentence which is one of the treasures of paradise?" I said, "Yes, O Allah's apostle." "Let my father and mother be sacrificed for your sake." He said, "It is. There is neither might nor power but with Allah." Volume 5, Book 59, number 517. Narrated by Yazid bin Abi Ubaid. I saw the trace of a wound in Salama's leg. I said to him, "O Abu Muslim, what is this wound?" He said, "This was inflicted on me on the day of Khaybar," and the people said, "Salama has been wounded." Then I went to the Prophet, and he puffed his saliva in it, i.e. the wound, thrice. And since then I have not had any pain in it till this hour. Volume 5, Book 59, number 518. Narrated by Sahl. During one of his ghazawat, the Prophet encountered the pagans, and the two armies fought, and then each of them returned to their army camps. Amongst the army of the Muslims there was a man who would follow every pagan separated from the army and strike him with his sword. It was said, "O Allah's apostle, none has fought so satisfactorily as so and so, namely, that brave Muslim." The Prophet said, "He is from the dwellers of the hell fire." The people said, "Who amongst us will be of the dwellers of paradise if this man is from the dwellers of the hell fire?" Then a man from amongst the people said, "I will follow him and accompany him in his fast and slow movements." The brave man got wounded, and wanting to die at once, he put the handle of his sword on the ground and its tip in between his breasts, and then threw himself over it, committing suicide. Then the man, who had watched the deceased, returned to the Prophet and said, "I testify that you are apostle of Allah." The Prophet said, "What is this?" The man told him the whole story. The Prophet said, "A man may do what may seem to the people as the deeds of the dwellers of paradise, but he is of the dwellers of the hell fire. And a man may do what may seem to the people as the deeds of the dwellers of the hell fire, but he is from the dwellers of paradise." Volume 5, Book 59, number 519. Narrated by Abu Imran. Anas looked at the people wearing tailzans, i.e. a special kind of head covering worn by Jews in old days. On that Anas said, at this moment they, i.e. those people, look like the Jews of Khaybar. Volume 5, Book 59, number 520. Narrated by Salama. Ali remained behind the Prophet during the Ghazwa of Khaybar as he was suffering from eye trouble. He then said, "How can I remain behind the Prophet?" and followed him. So when he slept on the night of the conquest of Khaybar, the Prophet said, "I will give the flag tomorrow, or tomorrow the flag will be taken by a man who is loved by Allah and his Apostle. And Khaybar will be conquered through him, with Allah's help." While every one of us was hopeful to have the flag, it was said, "Here is Ali," and the Prophet gave him the flag and Khaybar was conquered through him, with Allah's help. Volume 5, Book 59, number 521. Narrated by Sa'al bin Sa'd. On the day of Khaybar, Allah's Apostle said, "Tomorrow I will give this flag to a man through whose hands Allah will give us victory. He loves Allah and his Apostle, and he is loved by Allah and his Apostle." The people remained that night, wondering as to who would be given it. In the morning the people went to Allah's Apostle and every one of them was hopeful to receive it, i.e. the flag. The Prophet said, "Where is Ali bin Abi Talib?" It was said, "He is suffering from eye trouble, O Allah's Apostle." He said, "Send for him." Ali was brought and Allah's Apostle spat in his eye and invoked good upon him. So, Ali was cured as if he never had any trouble. Then the Prophet gave him the flag. Ali said, "O Allah's Apostle, I will fight with them till they become like us." Allah's Apostle said, "Proceed and do not hurry. When you enter their territory, call them to embrace Islam and inform them of Allah's rights which they should observe, for by Allah, even if a single man is led on the right path of Islam, by Allah through you, then that will be better for you than the nice red camels." Volume 5, Book 59, number 522. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. We arrived at Khaybar, and when Allah helped his Apostle to open the fort, the beauty of Safiya bint Huyay bin Akhtak, whose husband had been killed while she was a bride, was mentioned to Allah's Apostle. The Prophet selected her for himself, and set out with her, and when we reached a place called Sid as-Saba, Safiya became clean from her menses. Then Allah's Apostle married her. Hiz, i.e. an Arabian dish, was prepared on a small leather mat. Then the Prophet said to me, "I invite the people around you." So that was the marriage banquet of the Prophet and Safiya. Then we proceeded towards Medina, and I saw the Prophet making for her a kind of cushion with his cloak behind him, on his camel. He then sat beside his camel and put his knee for Safiya to put her foot on, in order to ride on the camel.